bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, one.
Starting something, and I realized I was supposed to upload like a little intro slide, but I didn't, so we're getting right into it. This is going to be a New York Pro recap.
No warm-up
for women's physique and figure. So we have we'll get right into figure, I guess, huh? Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes, I was just zooming in on me so that way I can see the girlies a little better.
Okay. Oh shit,
that's for an ant.
But so yeah,
this show was pretty interesting because you get to compare quite a few of them from like the previous week.
Yeah. And I feel like we're looking at 4 of them right now, and they all came in pretty improved too. So
I say I do like that there's a bunch of girls that did last week at Pittsburgh, and they're also doing New York. Super fun. I love that. You don't see it too much in the women's stuff.
Yeah. And then Optimum this week, which is going to be smaller. Not as many of these ladies, but a couple. So that'll be interesting to see too.
Oh, I haven't even looked at who's going to be this weekend.
We'll get there. That's part of my presentation.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
So we're starting from Jennifer to Lena, or you guys want to start from Lena?
I think I went 5th through 1st, and then we'll go.
So it's always fun to compare 1 and 2 a little more in depth than the other girls, but that was just me.
Yeah,
that was just me.
Sometimes it's like the top 5 are all so beautiful. It's like
hard
to eat anything.
So what I felt when I look at both like the first and second call out is that I think because Tyler is the head judge for this show as far as I'm aware, so you can literally tell that he's trying to make a very big statement, that they're trying to draw a very clear line between women's physique and figure. Because if you look at the girls are a lot more streamlined, smaller build, smaller bone, smaller frame.
Yep, absolutely. Adela still has such a pretty shape, though, but definitely a noticeable difference. Much more streamlined in that first call out.
I still think with her is like just the overall density.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also a big topic too in the women's divisions as of late, is kind of the whole, well, she's bigger, so why didn't she win? But I think this year we're really kind of nailing the streamline look, which is why I like that you use that word, not just like smaller, because it's really not the right word to use. It's just a more streamlined physique, especially because I went back and looked on the NPC website just to double check like criteria, just to make sure like what I'm thinking is what is actually getting awarded. And I think they're doing a really good job actually at keeping up with awarding what they say should be getting awarded at these shows too.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point too, because I think like, we're bodybuilders. We always think like we're too small, but a lot of the top figure ladies are, you see them in person and you don't expect them to create the illusion that they're so big on stage because they're petite, I suppose would be the more proper term. They're not small, but they just, you know, when they're just going about their daily lives, you don't expect them to just into this.
So when we're discussing the criteria, I'm thinking figure when they describe like the criteria itself. When I think about the definitions, like small bones, small hips, I wouldn't say like super wide shoulders, but there's something like, you know, like having a lot more development at the upper quad to the middle quad itself, so that there's like a flow out rather than have like most of your muscle concentrated at the kneecap where the VMO is, because that would affect like the shape of the legs. So how the development of a certain muscle group goes, I find that's the challenge with aesthetic divisions always. It's different for the men actually. What I've realized, like guys typically look better when they have like most of like their quad muscles concentrated from the center of the quad down. Whereas for women, because maybe our hips are just naturally always a little bit wider, so it flares out like that. So like having most of like, you know, I'm using the quads just as an example, but you know, flares out that part. So having more of like the upper quad hip flexor to the rec fem development, it helps a lot. And of course, these the shape of the quads, muscle structure, everything is always going to be different from person to person. But I think that's why like it, you know, that's the fun of the sport, like just seeing how you can train to fit your mechanics.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like I just think it's so fascinating when you get into it and see like how different everybody's muscle bellies are. Like I have very long like quad insertions, so I don't have much of that sweepy shape. That's one thing that like I'm really working on, because I do think like once I get that, it'll help make my waist look a little bit smaller. But just like, and then some people just have these tiny little insertions that make them nice and sweepy and round and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. Yes. I do. I understand that.
One thing I do notice though, that when I'm looking at lower bodies, especially for our division, if you're wearing heels, I understand that, you know, it helps to have some form of development at the calves, but I've noticed I would just much rather have my small calves because I don't want like my calves screaming in heels.
No, I need bigger calves, but
you're talking to the right girls. You want small quads? I can deliver. And to be honest, like I never look really at their at their calves. Like that's the last thing I'm looking at, but I understand having super underdeveloped calves really would affect you. But I feel like mine are, at least using me as an example, because I don't feel bad mouthing mine, are severely underdeveloped. So then in comparison, like especially just even remembering mine, I was like, surely they're gonna deke me for that. And I didn't get a single critique about mine where they're like, oh, like your calves need, because they do. But you never hear them talk about their calves, and I think that's very interesting.
I don't think it's anything like for people for the judges to judge. I don't think they judge it per se, but as long as it's not something like eyesore when they're looking at your physique. Like,
it's borderline.
See there.
It's borderline for me. They need some work. They need to be hit like 3 times a week right now.
I've been the best about training calves as I ever have been. I wish I could say I saw results. I have yet to see results, but
and that makes me not want to do it.
Exactly.
It makes me not want to do it. But I always feel like the wellness girls have incredible calves, and I feel like for them it does kind of make maybe a slight difference if maybe theirs is super underdeveloped.
Yeah, and I do feel like, especially like with women's physique too, I think it's a little more like noticeable because it's like the larger your body mass is going to be, the more I think like when you see an imbalance like that, it sticks out. Whereas I think like in figure, since we're just kind of hitting those front and back poses, and for me personally, I feel like mine pop a little bit better in heels.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to say that as well with the heels.
Yeah. So, but anyway, here's
back on track.
Oh no.
Back on track.
I guess we'll call ourselves out and hold us accountable for training calves this year.
Yeah. Can't tell me nothing I don't know in that department.
Yeah.
I know she has great calves. Jennifer has great calves.
She does. Yeah, I think she looks great here. I think it's interesting. Gosh, I should have pulled up her FIBO pictures because I do think there's a noticeable difference in conditioning, but like in a good way that's more rewarded over here, just slightly softer.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I thought like the look compared to last week was pretty consistent.
yeah.
I think it's just me that I don't see very big changes. So maybe she was told to come in like, more or less about the same,
Hmm. Yeah.
but
But
like a similar look.
I feel like she's got beautiful detail through her quads though.
Oh yeah, I would say that's part like one of her strongest muscle groups.
Yeah.
The shoulders are not too overdeveloped as well.
Hmm.
I think they were filled just nice.
Yeah.
But personally, I she could use a little bit more density to that back.
Yeah. And maybe just a slight bit more lat in the front too.
But at least in terms of like
I'd like
lower
that.
Huh?
I'd always love a little more laugh in the front.
I know,
but
right?
yeah,
I know it's always so finicky with some of the girls in figure. And like I don't know too with if it just the way some of the girls pose their legs, if it's more beneficial to do where they kind of squat a bit and do hide that gap, or some of the girls don't do that and they do get a gap. I don't know if that makes a difference for
okay,
you
so personally, my
guys.
knee pose, I don't. Like, I don't bend my knees at all because I don't need my quads to look even bigger than they already. I mean, they're not say like super big, but I don't need them screaming for my physique.
Yeah.
So I stand a little bit straighter. At least that was what I was told to do.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's sorry.
Oh no, you're good. I was just gonna say, like, because that's a good point. Is like, I think a lot can be done to like bring balance to your physique because how she's posing is a lot more how Christina would have me, which is um feet fairly close together, pointed forward, but like rotating and pressing your knees outward. I also like pop my hips back kind of like she does to see if I can't like make my waist look a tiny bit smaller.
Hmm.
But yeah, if you've got like really strong, beautiful quads like Tanya, then
Thank you. I don't know what to say. Thank you.
I agree. I'll co-sign that. I just noticed it too with like looking at their feet. I'm a big feet looker, and her feet are both pretty parallel to us in that front shot, and then in the back she does outturn them quite a bit.
yeah,
Which I do think that helps quite a bit, which is the balance from top to bottom, at least in the
yeah,
back shot. Her
yeah,
front shot's beautiful.
I think she turns her feet out a little bit in the back shot so that the quads can flare out a little bit as well.
Hmm.
In the back. But because like her hips are so small, so I think I was just about to say in terms of like lower posterior development, it's to me it's just nice.
hmm
Like she doesn't need any more of that because I mean even if she were to bring up the upper body, if the glutes get any bigger, like we don't want like it screaming out.
hmm
Yeah.
I agree.
Like I get that figure like for all female divisions you need really good glute hamstring posterior development, but at the same time it's like I just feel sometimes it really throws it off if the glutes are just too big.
Hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
To me, figure has never been like, big glutes. I do quite like it though.
I know.
But I know it's not what they're really looking for. But I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you bring GN over here in this slide, like when I compare it to like Jennifer, I can kind of understand why GN maybe took like the fifth spot because GN seems to have like a better balance from top to bottom if you are to compare fifth to sixth.
Hmm. And front to back too, I think. Just looking at
Yeah.
the two shots.
Yeah. I do think, speaking of glutes, I do think Jennifer has a little more fullness. I kind of like the look of her glute to ham there. But as far as like the front V taper and shape, I think Jean just slightly edges her out. She's like improved dramatically from like last year New York Pro too.
She's one person that's like never off.
Yeah, she's very consistent, but also like not consistent and like shows up the same and you know what to get. I feel like the difference between last year's New York Pro and this year's New York Pro is like dramatic.
She
I
always
think
comes in sharp.
Yeah,
Well,
I think she posted that this was her. I probably shouldn't say this because can't remember. I should probably only say things that I know I remember, but I
Pull
thought
up my Instagram in the back. That's
yeah,
a great
pull her up
idea.
on I thought I remembered her saying this was like her last show of the season, which would kind of surprise me because she's been doing very well. But
She's also been going since the first half of last year, so maybe
Oh,
she did.
really?
Yeah, yeah. She does like quite a number of shows in a year.
wow. Okay.
Either way, I love her quads too. Big quad girl. That's the thing. I first looked, I was like, wowie.
Yeah, and I think
She
The leg
obviously has
detail's
better back depth.
crazy.
she's even got a little more detail too than Jennifer.
Mhm. That or
Yeah,
she
when
looks
you look at the
fuller.
glutes, yeah, when I look at the glutes, hamstrings, and like the overall back development, she just edges out on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you click them like that, I get it.
Nicole Crazy improved from Pittsburgh.
I saw her comparison photos. You said was it like a 7 pound difference between stage, or was it 10?
Oh,
7.
she did post. I can't remember what she said
Yeah,
though, but it was dramatic.
From these two shows?
Yep.
That's crazy. Okay, keep going.
No, but I mean, I'm just because I remember when I saw her at Pittsburgh, I was like, I don't know. She looks like she's just kind of like missing that pop. But here at New York, like, I think she looks incredible.
Yeah, so at Pittsburgh she was 141, and New York Pro she was 134.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that was like a peaking thing or if that was
Sounds like
actually
it.
just because her legs look very different to me. And I'm trying to find the
Yeah.
words to articulate what I quite mean by different.
Well, she was lighter in, but I know her a little bit personally because she's posted me like the last 2 years. So
Yeah.
she would tell me. I mean, I don't know how it went this time around. I haven't spoken to her this season, but she did share with me like in the past. They don't really eat a lot for her shows. Like she's not the sort that can eat.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe the
Interesting.
coach pulled her down and then some salt.
Yeah.
Or just yeah, it seems like a peaking thing to me. I don't know.
I mean, it's just a crazy difference. Like, because I was kind of like, I mean, I'm not trying to call out Nicole Graham, right? But I was a little like surprised, a little underwhelmed by her, the lack of definition through like her hams and glutes. But in New York Pro, it's like night and day. So
Exactly. That's what I was like, wow, like
Yeah.
how tight she is in New
Mhm.
York versus what she was in Pittsburgh is actually insane.
Yeah.
In a very cool way, though.
Yeah.
You know what look I really like? Her 2021 New York Pro. I'm not saying I don't like her look now, but like the one that she brought in 2021, so good.
Let me see if I can find. Oops.
I think she did tell me like that was one of her favorite looks as well.
Let me see if I can find it.
But it was just so crazy because like her feedback in the past, they used to tell her like she's the one that's already on the bigger end for figure.
Mm-hmm.
And like she
100%.
blends in like so well in this lineup. It doesn't look big at all.
Shoot, I don't see her in 2021. Let me try 2022.
Was it 2022?
And I was like, the dates really throw me too.
I can't remember any dates.
2022.
Sometimes you
You
watch.
see that the new Instagram doesn't update when a person actually does a post anymore. Like they don't write the date when something was posted.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Oh wait, I found it. Okay, I found it. I'm just gonna send it to our chat.
I don't know
I'm
if I
scared to click on it because it might take me out of my second one. Let me see if I can find it.
She's got a very streamlined shape. Like when I look at figure again, I'm thinking of a wasp.
I don't know how to do this without showing my whole messages. Not that I have anything to hide, but
Without ratting out the whole message.
yeah.
As long as it's not showing a certain point of our messages.
Hold on. Here we go.
Conspiracy theory. What's in the messages?
Here we go.
Oh, wow.
Well, I guess she doesn't need a head. Sorry, Nicole.
That's okay. We know who we're talking about. We know it's her.
Yeah. Damn.
Wow.
Oh, the Olympia.
Okay, when I look at the photo on the right, then I can understand why like the feedback says that she's on the muscular end.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, but I
So
love it.
what's the year on the left?
Is it 2021, 2022?
4 years ago, give or take.
I'm looking.
Oh, it's one of those things you have to do the math. What a difference a year can make.
So
Uh-oh. When was the post made?
52 weeks ago.
Oh, heaven's sakes.
she didn't compete last year. Maybe it's 2023.
There's like, what, 36 weeks in a year?
I know. I know.
Oh, this is just outing how bad my education is.
No, we don't need to do math. We only need to know plate mathematics.
I know increments at 45.
Yeah, exactly. Oxana.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 52 weeks.
I was going to say, when you said 36, I was like, actually, I think it is 52 weeks in a year.
So never mind. Let's say this is give or take it a little over a year. Edit that out.
I know, right? I don't think there is any editing in these.
I know. It's just going to go up. That's fine.
Oxana.
I personally like Nicole in third, but that's just me.
I could see that argument. Just because everyone else, like, you know, since they're trying to kind of go the more like shapy route,
Yeah.
Nicole just has a bit more of that V taper.
But you know,
They like the shape.
But you know, when we're talking about like how to nail the figure conditioning and the shape, I actually think like the shape part is actually the more obvious, easier part for me to understand. I think the most difficult part is the conditioning, because that's the part that, you know, it's always going to sometimes differ from what they want from show to show. Like I noticed with this New York Pro, like the top 5, they're just sharp all.
Yeah.
But if they were to bring that same look to Pittsburgh, I wonder if it would have been a different story, because the first call in Pittsburgh, it wasn't like that as sharp. But also, you know, it's always dependent on how everyone shows up.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it can work both ways. If you're like the only person who's healed, it's almost one of those situations of like, okay, one of these things is not like the other, and then it's easier to compare the others as opposed to immediately throwing you in the middle.
Well, Oxana has a lot of muscle.
Like, look at the density in those quads.
Yeah, so I like Nicole in turn, because Nicole is very similar in terms of like the structure and shape to Lola. So like I said, like when I look at figure, like I think the era of the figure girls that I really like, and I see a lot of similarities when they were judging it in the past, were people like Lola, Sydney, Latoya Farley.
Yeah, they clicked really late.
Candice Carter.
Do you think perhaps if Nicole were to just fill out her glutes just a touch, it's hard to say because we don't have like a more straight on shot of Oxana, but I wonder if Nicole's glutes were just a touch fuller and sharper, if that would have flip-flopped them.
No, I think I have a feeling she's marked because of the imbalance difference from the upper to the lower half.
Okay.
Because whether it was like from Pittsburgh to New York Pro, I think she was probably told to like she probably needs a little bit more of the lower body.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that's really what it was.
Let's see what Oxana. There she is, right there. Which this picture is a little hard to tell, but I don't necessarily think she has super defined hams either. But Natalya is just so. She's one of those competitors that's like so consistent and so like perfectly balanced and just like the perfect package, kind of, honestly. I think, did everybody freeze?
Oh,
No.
I was paying attention. I
Oh,
was
sorry.
really actively listening.
You both looked so intent. I was like, maybe I'm just
I was
talking.
watching her while you were talking. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreeing
I don't
with
know.
everything.
I was just thinking about this earlier when I was just kind of like doing my little mental recap because I honestly was expecting them to go with Natalya.
I think it's incredible that year after year after year, and it's been many, many, many years that she's still on top.
Yeah.
How old
And
is this
she's
girl?
I don't want this to sound derogatory because it's not. It's a compliment. But she's one of those everything is so perfectly balanced that it's not like anything really like jumps out at you. Whereas like some girls you might look at and be like, oh my God, what incredible quads, or oh my God, look at her lats. Whereas like when I look at Natalya, it's like figure, which is just like
Yeah.
beautiful taper, like perfectly balanced top to bottom.
So I think that's kind of like what they want because I
Yeah.
don't think when so, of course everyone's physique at that level is almost usually going to be really impressive. But you don't want to be walking out and everyone's like, whoa, she's got a really good back. Whoa, the quads are incredible. Like they don't want a wow factor. I mean,
Yeah.
wow factor should be like coming out as presentation. Like when Lola comes out, she looks like a superhero. And
Hmm.
of course, like Lola's muscle groups are, all of us would just go like, oh wow, like the shoulders, arms, everything.
Mhm.
But you get what I'm saying. They don't want like a freak factor with like certain body parts.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it's important to remember because it's like, you know, I always have a tendency to like point out like I'll look at wellness girls and be like, "Oh my god, I wish I had those quads." And it's like, well, yes, but also no cuz that's not exactly figure, you know. So I
Mhm.
think there's something to be said for just like achieving that perfect balance, you know.
And I heard that Tyler, this is irrelevant, but like I heard Tyler mention this even for the men's physique guys. Like some of the men's physique like competitors, they look really good because they got certain muscle groups, but they don't actually like place as high because he doesn't want that wow factor.
Okay. It
Yeah.
makes sense. It makes sense. Like you kind of think about it and it almost like I said, it almost like sounds bad, but at the end of the day, it's like that's exactly what the figure guidelines kind of are, you know,
Yeah.
perfectly balanced from top to bottom.
Yeah. So with Natalia, slightly longer torso. There's one thing I realized that she's kind of similar to me, no, not to me, to Jessica, Reyes, in the way that both of them have like longer torsos, longer midsections. So, but that's why like how she manages to proportion that torso to the lower body is about, yeah, it's pretty good. What I would say though, I think Lena edges out on with compared to her on this one, and likewise with Lola for the last show. It's
Mhm.
it's just structural thing, shape, structural because
Mhm.
she is pretty balanced, but she's a little bit like on the narrower end. I'm not sure if it's the way she poses as well, but I
Yeah.
would just not use her lower half anymore.
Yeah, and especially when the two of them, sorry, I'm going to skip all the way back. Especially when the two of them are, whoops. Sorry, I'm fired.
I do feel like Natalia is not as sharp as Lena or Lena from the back either.
Oh no, I got rid of the comparison. Sorry guys. I guess we're not going to compare them, but you'll have to take your word for it.
You just click real
Um,
quick between the two. It's the same thing.
yeah, like especially because Lena showed up, I think, so much like fuller while maintaining the same, if
Yeah,
not tighter conditioning. And
Lena looked.
her frame is just so much bigger. So when you take two that are pretty comparable and one's just slightly bigger, I think she gets the wow factor, you know.
But I'm also looking at it in terms of like the curves at the side of the physique. Like both of them have beautiful physiques, but I think Lena stands out because this time round she's, structurally and shape wise compared to Natalia, she's just more dramatic.
Hmm.
The taper and the ratios, like the hips are so small, and just like what I mentioned with the quads, like the development of the quads is exactly where you want it to be flared out over there.
Yeah, and look at these. I just love how sharp her glute and then that quad sweep is.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, the size of the glutes is just nice, especially when she has smaller hips. So she doesn't need them like super big, like just flared out nicely, and then just ties it nicely with the quad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The same thing, that's like I was saying too. I don't think it's like one part on her that I'm like, wow, she has this. Like she just has everything.
Yeah.
It just looks really pretty and flows very well together.
Yeah, I'm a huge Lena fan. I was very happy that she won.
No, I think this is like the best she's looked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Even
agree.
I'm not like super actively like looking at everything she does, but just from our conversations on it, I think this is the best she's looked.
How did she do at the Olympia last year?
Is it?
Excellent question. She was
one
there,
thing I
right?
see, yeah. I think she was still like first call out, but I can't remember if it was fifth or sixth.
And it seemed like she was just like competing nonstop last year too. So I'm curious to see if she like shuts it down until the Olympia this time, or if she's gonna do a bunch of shows.
But 4 pro show wins
She was
in a year
8th.
last year.
Okay.
Okay.
8th place last year.
Okay.
So I think it's a peaking thing as well, because I can see like in Pittsburgh she was still flat, which probably like affects the detail a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like especially in the back shot there.
But it's just so cool because it just tells us like how peaking can really make a very big difference to a person's shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Wonder
Some
why the
people look
photos.
better. Some people look better like fuller. That's one thing I realized. Some people come in on the flare and they look better. The way around. How did the peaking go for the both of you towards nationals? Was it a very easy, straightforward kind of peaking protocol?
I think mine was. I think mine really. I think it was like we fed what 4 days before, and it was like pretty much the same thing. Cut cardio, did a bit of water,
The
I'm
food
did
helps,
coffee.
the non-food.
I'm one of those. I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I guess it's going good. I'm just doing what you told me to. I'm not really.
It is very tunnel vision at that point, though. Like
Yeah.
you don't even know what she looked like at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like I really, I mean, all those check-ins, you would think I would have some idea, but I just kind of would look at Justin and go based on his reaction,
Yeah, if he's excited, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
He's concerned now. I am concerned. But better yet, I would just prefer if he is concerned. I just don't know.
Exactly. I know. It's a nerve. He got a little nervous for me. I think
I think he's nervous for me too, if it makes you feel better.
at the earlier part of my prep, and that was kind of. I wasn't even worried about myself. I was like, I look great. I'm doing good.
I'm killing this.
Like, I look better every week, and he's just kind of like,
Ooh.
like, oh, should I worry?
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, my quads are going to be a hope and a prayer. It was a hope and a prayer. And between those 3 weeks, we lost like 8 more pounds.
I was going to say, I
And
feel like your peak week was like
pulled it out of our butt.
very dramatic.
It was like from arriving in Texas, because we got there, Tuesday? Or I got there Tuesday, you got there Monday. Completely different look.
Yeah.
And I just pretended, I didn't even realize it either until looking back at pictures. I was like, holy shit. Very cool though, but I had not a lick of what was going on. I was gonna do more cardio a few times too, and because I was panicked, that was why my legs didn't pull from the first time.
Oh yeah.
But I remember walking downstairs with that little cardio room downstairs, and Justin was sitting there talking to somebody because I was about to go in there and like do a little bike action. And he looked at me and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Just gonna do a little bike, a little something." He's like, "You're absolutely not. You're gonna go back up to."
Had he told you originally to do cardio, or you were just like, oh?
I mean, I was just going off my old plans.
Okay.
So I think it was like that Thursday or something. I was like, well, we'll go to the gym later with everybody else, but I'll just go get a little cardio in, a little something.
Nope. No, you're not, ma'am.
Yeah. In my mind, though, my body looks better with like an extra little movement because my inflammation just would not. Because that's what it was. It looked so weird. My midsection was tight, everything else was tight, and then my legs were just like puffy, puffy looking.
I'm surprised.
Nobody's fault.
I'm surprised he didn't send you to ice bath with me.
I mean, I think he wanted me to one night, and I was like, you heard it here first. In case you didn't know, If he watches this, sorry, I never did the ice bath. Oh, I did the enemas though, so that's what really counts.
I was sorry not to derail this, Tanya, but
No.
I was so like
Ask the question.
doing those ice baths because like one thing is I realized my body just loves to hold inflammation in my legs like after a hard training day. So I was doing them like every day. So then when I got out there, I was like, oh no, I've got to find an ice bath place. I probably would have like had a
I
course.
remember this.
I know. I was just like, I have to. It was an awesome little place. Man, you would have loved it.
Gosh, I think I did a salt bath. I did a little Epsom salt bath, but that was a warm bath, not a cold.
But anyway,
anywho's back to the ladies.
Adela, one of my favorites.
Wow, her shoulders are ginormous from the front and the back.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just look at how the
She's very
tricep
dense.
is hanging from the front?
Oh, her what?
Yeah, her tricep
Yes.
hangs from the front.
Oh, I know.
That's my kind of girl, though. I love that. I do.
Yeah.
That is what you want, Haley, like from the front. Not all the way
She said just the tricep from the front.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love a dense girl.
Great calves.
Yep. Hers are still better than mine. Okay.
I don't know if it's the photo or is it just like, skin texture that
Mhm.
affects everyone. Like we mentioned the last part.
And I think that's a lovely point to bring up with some of these girls who are a touch older. Do you think that plays into it, like the whole thin skin type of situation?
Yeah.
You thinking about it?
I'm deferring to Tanya.
I don't mean older, like, in a negative way. It's something that now I'm
A bit more
honestly thinking
mature.
about all the time.
I think I kind of think about it not necessarily in terms of like age, but the number of preps, the number of
That
times
too.
I've gotten lean.
I agree with that too.
Because if we want to talk about like, obviously if I'm comparing her, now that I look at the lineup, I compare her with Jennifer. Obviously Jennifer is a bit smaller frame and a bit more streamlined. And then of course when we look at Jian, we can say the same thing. And then of course with Nicole. But what I'm curious about is like when we put her next to Oxana, like I would think density wise, I mean I don't know, I wasn't there in person. Obviously none of us there were except Shay. So but I would think they're about similar. It's just sometimes with peaking, and if you come in a little bit more grainier, then you will look like you have a lot more muscle.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody think? I feel like between Pittsburgh and New York, I feel like her tan is very light.
That's what I was going to say too. Either it was just my eyeballs, but the tan's a little different, a little lighter.
What that means, I'm not sure, but there you go. There's my observation.
I know, and I realize a lot of these girls at this level too do their own tans in their rooms, like have a whole like thing, which scares the bejeebies out of me. I don't think I have the interest in doing that.
Yeah.
I don't trust myself to do a tan. But that would explain some of the more discrepancies, at least in some of these shows, why some girls have a wildly different tan.
Yeah. And I noticed it. I noticed it when I was watching the men's open too. Like the first call out, every single guy was a different shade. So I was like, what is going on here?
This girl's so dense too.
Mm-hmm.
Which see now it makes more sense. We're trying to downsize, not downsize Figure, but try to get more of a streamlined look, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And we're putting the girls obviously with really dense, big backs, big quads, kind of a little lower.
Yeah.
No, I love that look, but I understand.
Yeah.
So when we're looking at her, obviously, if we compare her shape with Lena's, obviously it's slightly more blockier. Yeah, but so for girls like that, if it was me, I would go try to follow the example of Maria Luis Diaz.
Okay.
Because she is a bit more bigger, but she's also like a top contender and does pretty well. So I would follow like her example and like how she would streamline her look.
Hmm.
She poses it really well in the front, though.
Yeah.
Like she hides the waist very, very good in the front shot. In the back, though, there's no getting around it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
she's just a dense girl. I don't know if you could stick your hips back more in that back shot to make it look small. I don't know.
Especially when she's got that kind of like front lat. And sometimes I find that it's like, also back to like the lower body that you just can't run away from. Because when the quad details have to show, then like it can show that you really have a lot of density over there. Like
Mhm.
density and size are actually two very different things. Like that's my definition of it. Like density is just like how thick and like developed a muscle is. I don't know how to explain it.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And overall size is different. It could be very large,
Yeah.
but just not
Yeah.
Yeah.
with like
Okay.
it packs a good
I
punch.
think the right way to describe it is just how concentrated, seasoned the muscle
Good
looks.
word.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Same thing.
Manuela, also very dense.
So different though.
I like Manu ahead personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too.
I really like her look, but I also can see like the direction,
Yeah.
the trajectory that we're
I
going.
see the big picture here.
So I can understand why Hannah in front because maybe it's the 10 on total the posing, but Hannah has deeper lines, so that helps Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I wanted to really go along the route of like shape, I would have Manu ahead.
Yeah, I feel like Manuela is just a little more balanced from top to bottom, especially in her back shot.
That's what I was saying. I was like, I had to go back and look at what place both of them were because I was having a hard time here with the 8th and the 9th.
Yeah.
It's really just the back shot. Like from the front, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the back shot where I'm like, okay. They both look good, but I would have had Manuela winning
Yeah.
the back relaxed.
All things
Just-
considered, I understand when they're judging, like, we have to take the size, conditioning, shape, structure, all of the girls, like, all of that into consideration. But like, if you girls were a judge, do you think like they should go and like have like a priority thing for different divisions? Because I would prioritize shape first and then conditioning and then size. Like if I was like to judge and point everything.
Yeah, and I think that's sometimes what gets a little frustrating is sometimes like you go into a show and you don't know which one they're going to prioritize.
And I think the other thing with peaking is also very important when we talk about conditioning because anybody can be lean, but conditioning with detail are two different things. And we see a lot of people who are lean, but like detail the lines maybe genetically, or is it just a training peaking thing? It just don't look the same. Peaking is also it can be complicated, but not at the same time because some people also look more detailed at the lower body, and then the upper body is just not as detailed. Like personally for myself, like my feedback from my pro debut last year in Korea was perfect front shot. Behind, obviously, lower posterior needs to come up, so that was my feedback. But on the when I really like analyze and look at my physique, it's like upper body is fine, but because like the quads have so much detail, the upper body just needs just as much, even more detail. And then from the back has a lot of detail. The bottom also needs that detail to match up. Sometimes it's not because like your muscle group is weak. It's just something shines a bit too much, and it goes back to what we were saying with that whole wow factor thing.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Gabriella. I
Wow.
love this girl. I do. She's a house.
I was going to say, she is a house.
Oh, I've loved her for so long though. But she's so dense.
Like when she
She's
walked
so
out,
cute.
when she walked out and hit that front shot, I just
Ooh,
like look at those lats.
all of it.
Like
All
She's
of it.
actually really bubbly. Like it's a very bubbly look on
I
her
know,
face.
and I love it.
you're so giddy. You're like
Without a doubt, you would see this girl in real life, you'd be like, good God. You know what
you're
I mean?
sliding in her DMs like, hey, you ever tried women's physique?
I really want to see her. I just want to see something. I just want to see, because to me, when a girl looks this crazy
Yeah.
in these poses, I'm like, I feel like we could level up. We could do it. And I honestly,
Yeah.
I need one of these judges to do an in-depth reason, like talking about Gabriella's physique, just
Mhm.
hers specifically. Like, I want to know if they want to see her just downsize or if they would push her into women's physique.
I know, I'm curious too, you know.
But you see, I don't know if, for
Or
some people,
body,
like I
but
don't know if downsizing would work. Like there are just some
exactly.
physiques, some physiques where you look at them and then it's like, okay, I'll give you an example. Like if Nick Walker were to downsize, would he look men's physique?
It would
No.
take forever.
Um,
It would take forever.
no,
I
I'm
think
saying like it's easy to see a smaller Nick Walker. I don't think he would still be men's physique. That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
She just gets bigger. Like, she just gets bigger too. Like, she's never backed down on any of it. You know what I mean?
I know,
She always comes
that's
harder.
the other thing too. It's like if that was the feedback, then she's had plenty of time to
Exactly.
move up.
She's almost so, like, I don't even know.
She's like
Like,
big kind of, but she's also bubbly.
Mhm.
And
exactly.
when she poses like that, like you can actually imagine her hit a front relax in women's physique and hit that back double bicep as well.
I
Mhm.
know. And she poses her quad straight on in pretty much any photo I've even looking at, like on her Instagram. She purposely, I guarantee you, doesn't pose with her, doing any of those turns because it'd make her look bigger.
Well, and it's
Like,
interesting actually because I was just noticing that her feet aren't even like she doesn't even have her feet touching.
yeah.
Did she do that? Like, even in the comparisons, is that how she hit it?
I got
I'm
rid of
looking
them.
on her
Oh,
Instagram.
I do have the second call outs.
I'm looking on her Instagram to see if I can find. I'm just
Oh,
curious.
yeah,
I have a.
together there. She's got them together there.
Mhm.
She's a big girl.
Yeah.
So I'm saying she just.
We go back to the back shot of the comparisons.
Yeah, that one's crazy actually. And
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
almost I feel like she should pedal to the metal. Like, let's do women's bodybuilding. Like,
Oh yeah.
we get bigger quad sweeps. Like, she's just so dense. Because even just like thinking about just, like women's physique stuff, I'm looking at her stuff on Instagram too.
She
Like it's
probably
hard for her to like
She's,
kind of hide in any lineup, with like the typical like first call outs that we see this season as of late.
she's just her own look.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It just doesn't fit quite one of the three categories in my eyes. But I
Mm,
guess out of all of them, maybe figure's still the best. I wish she got awarded more for how dense she is.
mm.
Just humor us. Just show up at Optimum in women's physique. Let's
Just for giggles, just throw the heels off one time. I don't think
I
she ever has.
I goofed up. I pulled the initial walkout instead of like first call out, second call out, so forgive me.
I'm trying to be a stalker and look on her Instagram to see if she's ever even just for funsies, like at the gym, hit a front double. And I ain't seeing nothing. Because even when I was little, I was like, front double. For fun, for fun. And she doesn't even have like a single,
She knows people will take that and run with it.
give people what they want. I want to see it. I don't even know where she would stack up with like our current girls, like from the last two shows, for example. But I just want to see. To me, she might be compared to like a Paula.
I cannot believe how much Paula grew in the last year.
Me neither.
It's
Whatever she's eating, I need to eat 2 servings of.
I can't remember if it was the Triple O or the Rising Phoenix. The Rising Phoenix would have been later, but or maybe she was just out here for a show. But she was at our gym for a bit, and it's not like she's tall, but she wasn't huge. So when I started seeing her updates, I was like, what?
Oh,
With that Instagram.
her legs are crazy. Paula's legs are insane.
Like
She looks
Her
so
glutes are so long. Like
Yeah.
her insertions are so long. I assume she's long limbed, but I haven't seen her in real life nor next to somebody I've seen in real life, so I don't know.
Yeah, because she looks considerably taller than everybody here.
Yeah. And like she's just filling it out at that point, and
I love her
Must have
super developed front leg. Like it's just
Mhm.
from the front.
It's a wow. It's a wow factor in a good way. And obviously Natalya has balance from top to bottom, so it makes it very much
Natalya was spot on over here. Like, I mean, I loved her in Pittsburgh, but I feel like she just came in like way sharper and harder in New York. And I was just like,
She looks like she looks like this is photoshopped. Like
no,
yeah,
she looks so good.
it's nuts.
The tan, the suit, the hair, the makeup. I like this one. I like this one way more. I think the dark suit highlights too how small her waist is.
Insane.
That's what I'm saying. Every photo I saw of her, I was like, this looks AI generated.
Yeah. Yeah.
She just looks so good.
yeah, it's just a very dramatic shape, like bubbly at the top where you want it to be, and then where the legs flow out.
Yeah. There's not too much striations because that's actually something I had to double check myself to see what they actually look for striation wise. Because I'm used to just seeing girls pull the let's get as hard as we can type of card. And I do love that. But
Yeah,
contrary to what I love, it's if they actually don't want too much graininess and striations, even though
yeah.
you see that a lot going in.
You can see ever so slightly. Ever so
When I
slightly.
think about balance, like the detail matches at the top matches the bottom as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm saying I just love the way all her insertions are on her legs. Like the hamstring is just perfect balance of the quad, and it's just enough glute.
Yeah.
Got some for everybody. There's not too much of one thing. I don't automatically look at one certain body part. It
I
just all
haven't-
flows.
What was Tyler's feedback for her? I know in Pittsburgh it was telling her says like she could still use a bit more arms. But to me it looks like it doesn't look like her arms are like
Well,
particularly
he made a comment for like her front double that the arms were the perfect size. And then when she flipped over, yes, to like a side chest, he's like, well, she could use a little more arm development.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how to fix that. I don't know if he's just looking at like the tricep then versus her bicep.
Mm.
But I have no beef with this.
I was gonna say
No notes.
I ain't saying anything.
Zero notes on her.
I wonder if this is what the judges feel sometimes. You know, they look
Yeah, they look at their little books and they're like,
"Oh,
perfect. No notes.
Uh, Amanda.
Amanda just
Machado. I was super excited about this, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful look too.
I love her front double. I think it's, dare I say, probably the closest to Natalya's that I've seen so far, at least this year, given the year is young. But I think she's one of the only ones that comes close to that little bitty waist. Because her waist is so stinking small.
Yep, with the crazy flare of the lats.
Like she's the only one that kind of touches that in my eyes.
Yeah, I see that. I see that.
I think the only thing I wanted was like her side chest one, and given like some of the photos I looked at, the posing looked a little different, so it really doesn't apply to this direct photo.
Let me I'm
But
trying to
sometimes I saw it, her arms were so far down that I felt like we didn't see much of a twist to that torso, and so we didn't see much of the back shoulder, which I noticed Natalya gives us a little more of, so I could have saw something with that. For some reason, her quads are insane. They don't pop as much as Natalya's too in the side chest, just comparing the two. I don't know why, but it's just because she's sitting down. I think she sits a little more than Natalya does too.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
maybe
I've gotten more. Do you want me to bring up the NPC news and flip through all of them? It's so hard to find ones where they actually like are in the shot, you know?
no, these are perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've looked at her a bazillion times.
Okay.
No, I just
No, it
find
just depends on like what angle too. I hate that sometimes women's physique photos. It depends on what angle you grab some of these shots at too. That and given I know the judges are looking a little lower too than like even just a straight on shot like this. So to them, like, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
love
can
that.
tell.
You know,
But I can tell, like, for figure out women's physique, Tyler is going for very shapely girls. Like, you can
Yeah.
see like he prioritizes the shape a lot. So
Mhm.
when you look at
I'm not mad at that.
yeah, like the first call out, and then the first two, it was like a standout for me easily, like Amanda and Natalya over here. I would just say Natalya maybe like ages out a little bit because just maybe like the fullness and the muscle bellies are just so round that it just screams out dramatic.
Yeah.
I feel like
But
she also gives a good separation from women's bodybuilding as well.
Yeah.
Versus if you pick somebody like Paula, and maybe the lines are a little hazier,
yeah,
to put it that way too. Because Paula even poses big, is what I call it.
Yeah.
When they put their arms out, she's already a big girl.
Yeah.
So she then poses big on top of it, which is, it's kind of crazy. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. I think she would have had a little more taper if she would have just brought her arms in, at least in that front shot.
so I wanted to ask you girls what you thought because I'm looking at. I'm sorry, I'm still back on like Natalya and Amanda. These two, they look like this really tight waist. Like Amanda's waist is so tight, it's so impressive. And then when she just stands there with that front relax, she looks like that. And then when we look at the figure's second call out, and then you see them standing in heels like that front relax at the same time. Would you say it's like it's like they could really? I think that's why like maybe they possibly rank the way they are because they are like almost really like crossing over this territory over here.
Mm-hmm.
Not far off. Or in fact, maybe not even far off at all.
Yeah, I can see.
100%.
Yeah.
It's just pretty to look at.
It
Like,
is. And I understand just wanting to make these divisions more like, hey, that's for sure women's physique and that's for sure figure. So I
provided
realized
provided they still have the size,
Mm.
It's kind of like if a super shapy guy goes into men's open, like, well, if he still has the size, then he's probably going to fare pretty well.
Keon's my favorite one to talk
Yeah.
about with that.
Yeah.
He looks crazy. I was looking at his stuff today too. Insane looking. And I don't think he's even started really his prep for the year.
Yeah.
Anywho, back to Paula. Paula is like my fun one just to make little nitpicks at because she looks great, but I understand why she's kind of placed the way she is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, especially when we're coming like to balance and all that. To me, you go right to her quads in the front shot.
Mm-hmm.
And she really, you can notice this too in like her side chest. Her core's just not very tight. She doesn't have a lot of separation in her midsection, which at this point, I don't know if building that up would be beneficial to her. I think it still is worthwhile to have a deeper separation, especially because Tyler was critiquing Natalya's even at Pittsburgh, saying that she could have deeper separation in her midsection,
Okay.
which was crazy, honestly. But I get it. Like you're nitpicking the best at that point.
Yeah.
But I think just to make her legs not stick out as much, I would have liked to see deeper separation in her quad, or not her quads, in her midsection, and just more ab development overall.
Yep.
I feel
But her
that's what
labs are great. Her lats are great. I think she doesn't need to pose that big either. She could just bring them down a bit. It would make it look a little less wowie. And maybe also give her a little less, because you can see her tricep even from the front too. It might give her even a little more shoulder. Not that she needs it.
That's what I was thinking, because she's almost kind of like doing one of these where she's a little shrugged up. Whereas I think she just kind of like,
and she's almost like rotated back a bit too, even.
And it could be these pictures aren't always like timed. I think sometimes
No, they're not.
Yeah. So
No,
I mean, I probably shouldn't like judge based on that, but you said she was posing big anyway, so
she does it all the time. It's almost very women's bodybuilder-esque, where it's like close fist and they're very
okay.
They hit it like that. Michaela Aycock hits her front like this, front relaxed like that. And it's just posing big.
Yeah.
And I also thought the same when I started posing with Christina. I would pose big because I was like, to me, like women's physique, big, big, big.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, like we don't we don't need to do that.
We don't do that.
We don't need to do that. Given everybody, posing is posing, but even just nitpicking suit stuff for her, because I always look at suit placements on the back of the glutes. You notice like her glute where it inserts into her lower back. We can see that, which is a little strange for me. I would have liked to see the suit probably like pulled down just a touch and make her glutes look more round versus kind of squaring them off up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like weird little nitpicks, but
a good observation, because there was just something that wasn't flowing well.
And I think part of it, unfortunately, she could have went with a tinier little back bottom even. So that way it would have hit lower and I could see her actual lower back versus covering it up with that bottom.
Yeah.
She just has such long glute inserts too.
Mm-hmm. But again, remarkable improvements.
Oh yeah.
Almost like
the size she packed on, like crazy. And she kept it when she dieted down as well.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
I thought Shironica was incredibly improved from Pittsburgh. Did anybody feel that way?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's kind of the same critiques aside from the conditioning aspect. From Pittsburgh, I was thinking I love her front shots. I think she very much has the like tiny waist, has the right shape. It's really, I think, just a little bit of lower lat is my biggie, and then just closing her thigh gap a bit.
Okay, yep. I can see
that. Like a little more adductors, because that's the same for me. A little more adductors. So I'm looking at everybody's adductors. But overall, like, it's women's physique to a T.
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful package. And I was sorry, what?
I was just going to comment, like, her arms are great. And I think that's maybe part of the reason why she just needs a little more lower lat to just balance out her arms a little bit more.
Yeah, now that you point out those triceps, do they almost make her delts look a little small?
Mm-hmm. She's very balanced, like arm-wise, from like shoulder to tricep to bicep. She's just bulky through that section. And I notice it a lot with African American girls.
Yes.
They just typically are they're just stout.
Yeah.
They're stout and it looks beautiful.
Are really good, like arm and back development usually.
Like Andrea Shaw's arms are insane.
Yeah.
And she's just very bubbly, like big shoulder, and it just looks so action figure-esque.
Honestly, like she looks like she even has big forearms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
big arms.
I wish I had limbs.
She has just big arms, so I think she just needs a little more lower lat to compensate, and then just to really close that gap a bit. It's really not much when you think about it. Like,
yeah, she gets the lower lat and a bit more of the adductor and quad sweep going. Like on her frame, that would really be beautiful because her shape, her bones, everything, the proportions, it's perfect. It's actually like a smaller, like your perfect figure silhouette just blown up into women's physique with arms.
Exactly.
I can see that.
Yeah.
If anything, I was a little more disappointed too that she didn't place third I
Yeah,
still kind of like this shape a little more
I
for
agree.
women's physique.
I agree.
But, I guess you win some, you lose some. I think her and Bridget
When
both
you're up
dropped the
against girls
plates.
like a Paula, Amanda, and Natalya,
They're just all
you
so
know,
different.
yeah, the density of these girls at the end of the day, like it also matters. Like sometimes, they say they don't want size for or too much size, or they're trying to make it a very clear thing because the lineup. But if the whole lineup, like 90% of people show up that way, someone is going to win looking that way.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good point because like you would think Shironica is a little more comparable with Natalya and Amanda than
I
Paula.
do.
Yeah. She's got, I
That's why
mean,
I think
such a beautiful shape. I
Paul
keep,
is the one out because I feel like Paul is more closer to Bridget
yeah,
than Shironica. So that was the only placing where I was like, that's a little
yeah.
interesting. We're not seeing what the judges are seeing by any means, but I'm
Just,
anticipating a nice little recap video, perhaps from Tyler sometime this week.
yeah, exactly. And Birgit.
Bridget.
Birgit, right? Bridget?
Bridget?
Bridget.
I've been saying Bridget. So I'm so sorry if it's not.
I'm so sorry, Miss Anders.
Ah, I just love a big girl. I do.
I mean,
In like the nicest way. When I say big, I mean beautiful. Okay. Big is beautiful in my eyes.
I love the look of the adductors just popping off the front.
That's what I'm saying. More adductors for Shironica.
Yeah.
Golden. They add so much detail and like just overall density to the legs.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've just been looking at adductors a whole lot lately, so I'm taking it up.
I would say she's pretty good from the front though, in terms of
I,
like the balance, like the detail and everything. I mean, I'm referring to Bridget.
sorry, I know. I feel like she might have a little more balance to her. Granted, I know there's so many poses. I should have brought up more than just the 2 poses for each woman's physique girl, but
It's okay. I'm trying to touch on just like a hair
yeah.
too. It's really like the side chest ones that are decent, like the ab and thighs. All those girls hit them fairly well. If anything, Bridget is the only one that hits her side. No, she hits the ab and thigh a little different. She
Okay.
hits it a little more, where she like switches off her torso a little bit to, I think, make it look a little smaller. It looks
Okay.
very pretty on her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's the only one I really see hit it that way. So that's the only reason I remember it a little more than everyone else's. But like, I think her midsection looks tighter. Just comparing, like, what was it, third and fifth now?
Yeah.
Because I think Paul is a good comparison to her.
Yeah, I agree. And Paula's
But
glute. Paula, the backside, like my eye immediately just goes to those glutes,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
But then when we go back to everything kind of needing to have its own balance, it's one of those, I think.
Yes, that's what I was saying the other round. I mean, just now. It's good to have a good muscle group, but when it stands out like that, it can like just make everything else look a little bit more underwhelming. It's not that it's not that they are weak. It's just like it's too strong.
no,
I think the same way. This kind of came up last week too, when like some girls have really huge adductors in their back pose. I think it's kind of distracting.
I like them to pop a little bit.
Yes.
Mm.
But when I feel like when that kind of like not takes away, but like overrides like the glute or the ham or even the quad sweep.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
It can be.
It shouldn't.
Much.
But like, I think Bridget.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't know that as far as like the judging criteria, it's super cool.
Yeah, but it's like, even from just a back shot in this one, I think Bridget, I like her back shot better than Paula's too. Because they're the most dense girls, I think, in this lineup. So they're typically the ones I'm just comparing, but I like her taper better as well from the back. I think the only things I saw as a common thing that Tyler also mentioned was he just wanted more back detail for her
Okay.
from the Pittsburgh. She's just very dense, just less, she has a little less detail.
Okay. Yeah.
But overall, like I really do like both these shots for her.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get a little comparison, something maybe this week or next week, just to kind of clarify. It could be maybe the other poses, and maybe it's just not the front and the back here.
Do you think
But
this color and choice makes a very big difference? As I mean, obviously it does. I'm just thinking like if Paula's physique would shine a little bit differently with a different kind of suit color.
I do. I really do, unfortunately. But she typically picks suits like that, like darker ones, and then almost like a velvet type of situation. It's pretty. It's just, and she also, I think, usually does like a molded cup. I could be reading out of place here, but almost like a wellness cup, which sometimes I want to say Natalya does as well. Not this Natalya, but Natalya from Soltero,
Okay.
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 I believe. I think she's done like a molded cup before as well. That's kind of like those wellness cups.
Mm-hmm.
I think changes the whole look. Actually, Christina Mendoza also, I think, has done a molded cup
Mm-hmm.
in women's bodybuilding. It's just a different,
Yeah.
it's a different look. And I think sometimes depending where that sits on your lats too, either makes your lats look larger or makes your waist look smaller or does the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Like me personally, we hiked mine up as my bottom's as far up as those suckers go.
Yeah.
And then glued them there. And it's just, it makes a difference. It makes a difference where your eyes go. I did have an honorable mention that I wrote down.
Okay.
There's Renee Miller. I don't know if you guys have her
Oh,
on
yeah.
Instagram. I think it's been a few years since she's competed, and she also was in figure last time. So
I thought she looked great too.
I thought she looked great, and she got given, from what I looked at, I'm looking at my notes, that's why I'm looking. But she did the New York Pro in 23, and she got fourth in figure.
Okay.
And then she got seventh at this New York Pro.
Wow.
But I thought she looked beautiful.
I think so too. Yeah.
And
I
she didn't get a
remember.
lot of talk. Her arms are crazy.
Oh wow.
But she's
I feel like
beautiful. Didn't get a whole lot of talk, but
Whew.
this is
you
so
know.
nice.
But she's pretty. I mean, nothing super is like a wow standout point on her, but she's pretty balanced, honestly.
I can see how maybe just it's, well, you know what? Back here, her glutes were striated, so I know she's conditioned, but I could see maybe just needing a little more detail or maybe just a little more sweep from there. But yeah, I remember Shane
Well,
posting.
she just needs this time.
Yeah.
To develop.
That's what I wrote in my notes too, is really just overall like leg development, possibly some more hamstring specifically.
But yeah, this is beautiful.
Yeah, I would say overall though, like pretty stinking cool that she came from figure not that long ago.
No, look at the ab and thigh. You look at the biceps.
Yeah.
I love looking at the biceps in that shot. It's always a good one. No, and she looks cute doing it too. Like I still think she's very feminine looking as well. Pretty fresh looking too, which is fun. I don't know. I wish she got a little more talk, but can't win them all. But she was a fun one. I hope she still sticks with it and she does some more shows this season.
So then, is that everybody for New York Pro?
So yeah, that was all my honorable mention.
I figured we could very briefly just bring up who's doing Optimum. Honestly, I'm not familiar with most of these names, but Tanya and I were talking while you were figuring out your mic thing. It should be an interesting show to watch because a lot of these ladies are the bigger girls, like Manuela and Adela.
Yeah.
We got to bring up Michelle. Let me find her here. She'll be making her pro debut, so that's exciting. Like,
oh wow,
she's always had like a crazy back.
I mean, I feel like
I do associate figure a little bit more as that though, like where they're almost like they do walk around kind of looking like that, like
Yeah.
Like the lower half is kind of streamlined, and then the back's like,
Yeah.
Like just
I
hanging.
feel like, when you watch like the Zamabenta reels of her just like walking around, I feel
Yeah.
like here we have
yes.
the figure Zamabenta. Just slabs.
Yeah, like figure girls, I think for the most part are kind of like petite, but just so dense.
Mm-hmm.
It's true because when I met Rhea Gill in 2022 Olympia.
Wow.
And she's not big, but when you look at her, even when she was just wearing long sleeve and stuff, you can see that the person is just so concentrated and dense.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
She's a taller frame as well, as in Michelle. I
Yeah.
think almost similar to Jess.
Wow.
I think probably taller than you, Jess.
Yeah, she's taller than me. So I
This
I
one?
can't remember. I know she's shared ones, but maybe like 5'9", 5'10".
This girl?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really excited to watch her.
Now this will be a good one. She's also going to be a good thing for like the whole tattoo debacle sometimes that you hear conversations
Yeah.
about. You don't see a lot of women with full back pieces though, and she's pretty dang close to a full back piece.
I feel like hers don't distract or take
Yeah.
away.
It wasn't the first thing I looked at, quite honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you still see enough of like free skin on her lower back to her upper, so you still can see the taper, if that makes sense.
Yep. Exactly.
So I don't really think it's distracting, but it'd be interesting to see if there's any talk about that for the next show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like her upper body because from as far as crazy as the back goes, and it goes to the shoulder and the arms, it's not like too muscular at the same time.
Ironically, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It looks, she's very pretty. Like I like it. That's exciting. Okay.
And then Nicole made her debut at Pittsburgh, and I thought she had a really beautiful physique too. I think she might be
Good makeup. I like the makeup.
Oh.
Like it's very soft.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
I am a fan, yes, of the natural, I guess you want for like stage makeup, I guess, more natural
Soft.
esque. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still like the girls who do the red lipstick and all that too, but I definitely I lean towards that look for sure.
Who else? So yeah, that'll be exciting, I think, to
Oh, but you see, Melissa is competing as well. I saw in the list. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm curious to see how
Rosie?
she does this time around. Yeah.
Roski, okay.
She's up against the bigger girls, so we'll see what they favor. Anyone know who's judging Optimum?
I don't.
Is it still,
I don't know if it's.
where's it at? Like
Optimum.
location wise?
Louisiana.
Okay. Let me do a quick little.
So. And then that it's awful. I know her by her Instagram name, Beast Mode Becca. She's a big girl too.
Oh, yeah. No, she's actually fairly local to me. I think she's St. Louis, if I remember right. Yeah. I think her name's Rebecca, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Perhaps, yes. I can't remember her last name off the top of my noggin.
That's why her name is Beast Mode Becca.
I was gonna say, I remember her name's Rebecca. No, yeah, I love her look. I really do. She's one of those girls, her back is crazy and her arms are very dense to go along with it. And I've always loved that because those are my arms were always my struggle department. So I gravitated towards women like that because I just think it looks so cool.
So yeah,
That's a good one. I didn't know she was doing that.
But,
she did a show this season, I think, already.
Tulsa.
Oh, lame.
Yeah. So
they haven't released the women's physique list, have they? Oh no, I think it's probably out.
I think female. I don't know that female bodybuilding channel has the whole one, but I know they posted like the main. Oh, so and so.
Are they doing women's bodybuilding at this one as well? Anybody know?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, only because I think they would have posted since they did the women's physique.
No.
But Anna will be there, so that'll be exciting.
Oh, I do love Anna.
Anna or Anna?
I want to say it's Anna, honestly.
Okay, I always just said Anna, but then I was like, it
I
might
always go with Anna for girls who are not from the good old US of A.
Yeah, me too.
and then,
There's only
and then
one.
Anna for the American girlies. And sometimes that's not right. I'm trying to look and see. It's in Shreveport. Athletes. Click here. I'm trying to see. I want to see the divisions.
Justin's girl.
Oh yeah. Molly.
See, in my world, she's Storm.
Oh, I call her that all the time. I'm trying to get better though at remembering people's real names.
Because I'll be like, oh, I'm not sure who that is, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I do.
I'm trying to get better at it because I know that's not right, but I also know that I don't help because I feed into it because my name is also. That's why people always spell my name Hay instead of Haley.
But
is her name Molly?
I
need to confirm it now.
Haley. Her name's
Oh, good heavens! Why did I think her name was Molly? Haley, I'm so sorry.
You're never gonna forget. But
no, I'll remember now. Why did I not know that?
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Is that
Shame
everything?
on me.
Is that everything?
I think so.
I'm just staring at the
muffin.
You're what?
I'm just staring at the muffin. I was lost for like 10 seconds because I was
I know it's about time for me to eat too. That's why I'm like, all right, I think that's everything.
I think I have one meal left, so there's not much excitement over here.
You only have one meal. Oh, it is. You're 2 hours.
I mean, yeah, but it's also 2 hours later here.
I forgot you're 2 hours ahead of me. I just
want more food.
Ooh.
I just want more food.
Yeah, I do love banana bread. So
I know. Do you think we can get that instead of PB&Js put onto our plan?
I love a PB&J too.
PB&J plan.
Not
me personally, but a lot of other people have them, and I'm just not there yet.
The way my body is, I am never going to see that PB&J.
You know,
is that like a pre-workout or a post-workout? A PB&J.
I think for people, it's a pre. It's like a common thing on our team. It's like a running joke. Certain people are getting PB&Js. There's like 3 of us have gone on his ass about not getting one. And, so now it's just a running thing. We're like, so when are we getting PB&Js?
I
like it matters. But
I told you guys this, but like, I just love my rice cakes
I saw you posted that. Like, you just have rice cakes as your cheat thingy.
I've got like how most of us, well, I don't know, you probably get like 5 cheat meals a week. I only get 1 cheat meal.
I don't.
But I don't really take it, so I just do like half a muffin top pre-workout on leg days, and then
is it the top of it or the bottom?
It's just the top. Just the top.
Okay. I was going to judge you if you said just the bottom.
Oh no.
Yeah, likewise. I was like, that's that.
And it's very important.
Then I just graze on some rice cakes at night with Harrison.
Is it like from a digestion standpoint too, that you just feel better eating that stuff too?
I'm not a food motivated person. Like, I really don't care about having a burger or a steak or I just don't care. Yeah. So
I think it's easier almost just to stay on your thing. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a social event, I really don't take one either.
If I had like a boyfriend or a kid or something that had like snacks and stuff, like I'd probably be more apt to like, let's go get something. But where I only have like the meal plan foods in the house, it's like I don't feel like going anywhere and doing anything when I like my own food anyway.
Honest to God, I get it. Like, I think I'm going to go out and have a free meal for the first time in like a month this weekend, just because it's a girl's birthday. And so we're going to get brunch. So it'll be my cheat.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to be late for the past.
When you have an event. It works out when you have an event. But other than that, I think the 3 of us are just very boring people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to go get a burger and fries to go sit and eat it at my place alone. Like, I
Exactly.
don't, food
Exactly.
does not matter that much to me. It really doesn't. Like, I enjoy it, but it's just not,
Mm.
I do genuinely like our food.
Yeah, that's exactly how I am. It's just like, what's the point? That and
What's
Yeah.
the hardest? What's the hardest thing for you girls off season? Explain
What-
this topic. What's the hardest thing for you, both of you off season? Do you have anything that's find that is hardest for you
I'll
off
say
season?
mine, at least like this season, it's been like recovery
Really?
has been like a hard thing for me. I think we're switching to like 1 day on, 1 day off.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't get it because I even backed off like the volume too for training because I thought maybe just the volume's been a little too much because we're
Yeah.
just, I'm doing better with like the execution and just really making sure everything I feel it, but it's still too much. But then I get in my head that I'm just like being a pussy and like,
You know what? I actually like I posted about this recently, but I actually
Yeah.
recently I'm only training, so I've got 2 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 2 on,
Okay.
okay.
repeat. So like our leg days are sandwiched in between a rest day. And this is the least amount of training days I've ever
Yep.
had. But I feel good. And we're both so strong. Like we're both pretty strong. So I feel like we're at the point where the amount of just like CNS fatigue we're like putting on ourselves.
Yeah. But in my mind too, it's like, well, I'm not, doing anything that crazy. Like I should be able to recover from that. It's fine. But also I understand like my execution's constantly getting better. I'm trying to feel things more, like push harder. But to me, you can always push harder. Like there is no end of that.
Yeah.
But at what point is it going to be detrimental? Like I'm just not recovering from it, even with adding the drugs, even with the more food. Like I've still been losing weight.
Really.
So at this point, I just have to like sit on my ass.
When you said that to Eleni and I, that you kept like dropping weight, I have not stopped gaining weight. Like I have gone up every single check-in since
But like, how much weight are we really gaining? Check in to check in.
like a pound a week.
Interesting.
Mm.
Does it look though? Like, are you checking in like right after a leg day or something? Like maybe you're holding.
I will
a
say
little
that I will go up like 3 pounds after a leg day.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I never. My weight is always like very very consistent throughout the
Really?
week. In prep, it's like maybe between rest day and training day, it's like just a pound difference. That's my body type.
Yeah, I'm at this point I'm just like used to like, which is why I took those pictures Monday, because like we check in Tuesdays. I think we both check in Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
But I was training I knew I was training legs Monday, so I took them before that. But yeah.
Smart. I always get too nervous to do that. Like he's gonna know. He's gonna know these weren't taken today.
After I sent it, I was like, he's either gonna be like really glad that I did that or really annoyed that I did that.
Do you preface that, or do you just send him?
Oh, I told him.
Okay. I'm not gonna rat you out. I don't give a shit.
Because otherwise, like, I don't want him thinking. So I took the pictures at like 177, and then check-in day I was 180. So I didn't want him to take the pictures, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not losing a whole lot of weight every week, but for the past 2-3 weeks, I think I've been progressively weighing in about 0.2, 0.4 lower than the previous.
Really?
And it's like we've just been bumping up. He's like, okay, well, this week, how about we do 200 grams of rice in all your meals, and then add a little of this, a little bit of fat. And then next week I check in, I'm like, okay, like I'm 0.23 lighter than.
Oh God,
Nice.
And he sits there, he's like, maybe you need a cheat meal. And I was like, I don't need a cheat meal. I don't want to.
I know.
You know how much you're eating?
I really don't. Like, unless I have a social event where I'm like, oh yeah, everyone's gonna eat out, I'll eat out. Like that'll be my one thing for the week.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I just really don't. I don't need them. If anything, I feel like for the mental aspect too, I'm like, I just want to be on my plan.
Yeah.
I just want to be on the plan. I don't need the meal.
I do that.
And I think it just helps you with a little bit more routine and just it just mentally easy with structure. Like that's how I feel.
Yeah, I just like my structure. And maybe for some people I understand the mental release of the cheat meal, but I just don't especially when things are going super well, like in the training and like everything's great. I don't want to do anything else. This is good. I'll keep
I
doing it.
see that's kind of why I like force myself to at least do a little something on like days. Like I don't want to go out and like have a cheat meal per se, but I also know like if he like is like all of a sudden out of the blue, hey, we're gonna do a little protocol and like takes away literally everything,
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna think like, I wish I had that muffin. So
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And honestly, too, you did the fasting too for a portion of your like a day or two, didn't you?
yep.
Yeah. Which is crazy because I think Jess Falmore was like, you guys you did what? Or you didn't eat for like what, 24 hours, I think? Mine was 24. I think he's done 48
Mine was it ends up being like more than 24 because like
with the sleep and stuff.
yeah. But in any case, it's like the hardest part was cardio the next morning. Oh, I was telling that to you and you said because you broke your fast the night before, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't think I did 24 hours.
The entire day, the entire night, and then did cardio and then ate.
Yeah, she's a better woman than I panicked. It was like, I need to eat.
But after that,
I was waitressing too and like bartending still. So I was trying to work and like run around. And I was like, so do you want me to work without eating and like sweating and all that? Or do you want me to eat a little something? He's like, go ahead and eat.
Did you almost feel like worse once you ate?
Almost.
Yeah.
Like I try to eat real slow to kind of get food back in without shocking your system, because that's a thing too. But I've never done a fast like that. Like that's still crazy to me that we did that. Not in a bad way. It all worked, but
not that this was fasting, because like there's a total difference between like actually fasting, but like
yeah.
When I was doing the horse thing, there would be days where like I didn't eat all day and I was like doing manual labor just because I was so busy.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's actually borderline insane that people do that.
Looking back, it was like, how the fuck did I do that? But
so I've never done like a gut protocol either for some of the people who have done that. We talk about that quite consistently, like people who have SIBO and other stuff where they need to do gut protocols. I've never had that issue.
Fortunately, like I didn't have issues, but there was just like, oh, let's just run one and then it'll be like smooth sailing through prep. So all he really did was pull like, the garlic and the onion, threw in some I can't even remember supplements.
I didn't realize that stuff inflamed your stuff as much as you did, because half a thing almost like every week it felt like I was using.
Oh, really?
And so a lot. Especially when like the condiment stuff was a little iffy. I was just putting a whole bunch of garlic and onion on everything because I love garlic and onion.
Definitely like mess with
everything. Like it is in everything.
It is like, and then he cut it out.
Yeah, and even if it's not like a garlic forward spice, like.
But that's what makes food yummy to me.
Yeah,
it's all the things that make your breath smell bad, and I didn't even realize that would cause those issues because it's a seasoning. I didn't know we had to cut seasonings too. Maybe it's just because I'm a newbie to the whole peak week and or doing things the proper way. I just didn't realize that was an issue.
Yeah. All right, ladies, I've got to go eat or else I'm never going to get 2 more meals in before I go to bed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. It's 8:40 your time now.
I got one little meal. I say little, and then I go to bed.
So that was fun.
I thought we did a good job, ladies. I thought we did good.
We'll only get better from here.
Yeah.
Exactly. I made notes, though, this time.
I'm curious. I don't think there's a live stream for this weekend, but we all kind of pay attention to the Nicole Graham.
I think Optimum Classic does have a live stream. I remember last year they maybe they had it. I can't remember. I mean, I might be wrong.
Okay, cool. But
I'll say either way, I would like to still be talking to people about these shows every week, whether we film them or not.
Yeah,
we'll be able to pull out photos.
Yeah, and it keeps us in the loop. I think with the whole women's stuff too that's going on, I think it only benefits the
Yeah,
women
we
divisions
at
to
least
pay
all of us are
attention.
up to date with what the direction of every division is going, just for everybody to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree. So, all right. Well, we'll
Thank you so
wonderful.
much.
chat next week.
I
And
can't wait.
cheers.
All right.
Oh, it's so lovely talking to you guys.
Peace be with you.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I miss you guys.
Okay.
I'm there in spirit.
Okay.
Okay, have a good night, rest of your day.
Okay. Yes. Have a great day, Tanya.
We'll do TGIF, everybody.
Yeah, it's Friday there.
Bye.
Bye.
Bad bitch, summer.